All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Rekieta Retardation. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a little bit of the damage control that Nick has been doing in regards to the Eric July situation. Now, as a bit of a disclaimer, I haven't been following the Eric July situation super closely. I don't know all the major players. I don't know anybody from like the Dick side of things. Like the main reason I was interested in this is seeing Rekieta spurg out about it, right? Coming to the defense of Daddy Dax. Like I've seen people allege that Dax is a major reason why Rekieta is going down the path he is, right? And although I can't like really co-sign that, I don't have any real understanding of the situation. I did see the live stream with Nick and Dick Masterson a couple of weeks back, the one where they're talking about the Eric July thing, which I think was a really interesting show. I think that was the thing that really got me fired up about like making Rekieta retardations regularly again because it was just so ridiculous. Like even I, with my limited knowledge of like who Eric July was and the situation, like even I could see like what Nick was trying to do, like trying to slant everything in Dick's favor, right? Like it was pretty transparent to me that that was happening, but again, I don't know how everyone else is feeling about this. I haven't seen a lot, like, I don't see any good commentary channels, like, going in depth, like breaking all this stuff down. So, like, I'm legit going into this, this video, like, not sure what my own stance is, like, I don't know everything about it, but we're going to go ahead and watch this video anyway and give a general overview of what's going on and what Nick is doing.
There was this. I was watching Eric. I think he was streaming. Eric July. He was either streaming or he made a video. I think he was streaming though, and he claimed that you haven't reached out to him like through text or anything. Is that true?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the complicated aspect of this is when I first had a stream with Eric on Thursday, and then I streamed with Dick on Friday, and I really did. People will either believe this or not; it doesn't really matter. But I really did try to ask Dick tough questions.
Okay. So I didn't sit through like all of that stream. Like I don't even remember when this was. Was it a couple of weeks back? Is he even talking about the same one? But the stream that I saw, the one that like immediately, the really notorious one, like the 6 hour long one. Yeah, I remember him just going on there, just being like ultra. He seemed out of it, right? Like he seemed drunk. He seemed like he was trying to damage control things for Dick. Like I remember the show that I watched. It seemed to me as if he wasn't really asking Dick any of the hard questions at all. Right? Like to me, it felt like he was doing damage control for Dick during that entire debacle with Eric July. It just feels like no, I don't believe any of this at all.
In the interview I had with him, the hard part about it, because people are like you wouldn't ask, you wouldn't go at Dick this hard. It's like, well, Dick would not respond in the way that Eric does.
Okay, but what does that have to do with you? All right, like if you're supposed to go on a live stream, if you're expected to go on a live stream and ask the tough questions, right? Like, does it matter how the other person responds? Right? Like, of course, that person is going to come out and like deny everything and make some claims or whatever, but like that's how you entrap them in their lies. That's how you entrap them in their like nonsense. Like back in the day we used to see situations like the Tonkasaw thing and like some of the Kick Vic people where like Nick would interview these guys for hours and then kind of like build up their narrative and then like just completely destroy it, right? We know how this works. We've seen this happen. Not only just on this show, right? The only reason you did not go after Dick Masterson, you didn't ask him the tough questions, is because you are 100% on his side, right? You are not willing to go up against Daddy Dax.
It's very disarming on how he responds because you don't have something to bounce back on and you go, okay, but what about this? And when I could, I did that. But out
Besides, it's a lawyer's job to to deal with these kind of people, so it's not like
that though, I was very frustrated with some of the shit that I had known for a long time about the situation. Again, why I tried to stay out of it. I'm not going to repeat it. It's all in that video.
Didn't try very hard, now did you? Like he keeps making these claims like, "Oh, I don't want drama," but he keeps inserting himself into it, right? He really is just like DSP. Like he himself is the problem.
And I dropped all of that stuff there when I had enough liquor and was also mad enough to do so. That being said, I don't take back the anything I said as far as like facts and stuff like that. But I probably came at him a little like way harder than I should have, as far as like just being personally insulting. And that was I thought that was really uncool of me. So my plan was to let things kind of cool down and blow over for a little bit, and then reach out, talk it out, and have a thing. That plan worked really well until it didn't blow over or cool down. It's only heated up, and things have gone crazier and crazier. And I feel like weird calling and being like, "Hey man, I want to smooth this thing over." So I would like to do that at some point. I think in the interim, I'm going to send him a long private message.
Okay. Enough with the private message thing, right? Like Nick is so okay. Both of you are public figures, right? Everyone involved is a public figure. Like the controversy is, involving these communities, right? Nick wants to do private messaging. He always insists on this. So like, oh, I'll send you a private message. So let like his the record of what he said and did is not public, right? Like we keep seeing this in all sorts of ways, shape, and form, where like he can just tell people whatever they want to hear in private, and then like his public persona just does whatever he wants, right? Right? The private message thing needs to stop. Okay, there is nothing stopping you from, apologizing publicly. Okay, it just no, like you need to hold yourself accountable for what you did.
And I'll state public, like I don't expect him to do this, and I'm not asking him to, and I'm not. This isn't a challenge or anything, but I know the nature of private messages are weird, so I'm going to write him a long private message, and I will say that I fully again, um, I I fucked up on that one, my approach, and I mean that very seriously.
Yeah,
And
sure
with
you
that,
did, Nick.
I said he can think I'm an asshole or whatever forever, and he'd be justified in doing so because I acted like an asshole. But I am going to send him a very long message saying, at one point I do kind of want this.
Okay. Okay. He says he doesn't want drama. Okay. Why are you talking to other people about the drama with Eric July? Right? If you really wanted to make it up to Eric, you would do so on his show, like to him personally. You wouldn't do this thing where you're just like going on other people's shows and saying that like, oh, I'm going to apologize to him eventually once things have cooled down. Like, why are you not doing it, Nick? Like, why haven't you done it already? Like, it's just like other people don't need to be involved in your drama that you pretend you're not interested in.
Be able to talk this out. I feel it's weird with everything fucking going on. And I've been talking about the legal issues a lot, drama issues a little bit, mostly trying to focus on the legal stuff because I'm still going to talk about that. And I try to limit any drama talk I have to his fans who are interacting with me on Twitter, which are fucking funny. But I will give him full permission to release, like without any animus or negativity, the content of that long message that I'm going to send him. And it's going to contain a lot of what I want to say, but I feel really weird being like, hey, just want to talk this out, but then know that in 2 days, something else is going to happen or come up, and it's going to be talked about more and more and more. When things kind of actually eventually die down.
Okay. Okay. A big reason why things are escalating are because of your actions, Nick. Right? It's because you haven't apologized already. Like, you are a problem. Like, you need to acknowledge that.
Happy to do so. People are very tribal on the internet, and they'll never believe you when you say you wish someone success. I really do.
Well, okay. Okay, the success thing. Okay. Like, I feel like this is the reason I wanted to react this video. Like, mostly because, like, it has so many, like, Rekieta retardation isms, right? Like it's just so many like Rekieta isms, right? Of just like the way he typically treats people and he tries gaslighting them, right? I talked about the private message thing, but that's another thing. The whole wishing you well thing, right? Like it's just like, oh, I can do whatever I want. I can say any manner of terrible things about you. I can disparage your business. I can come after you, but like, oh, I wish you well. I hope Eric July gets millions of dollars, billions of dollars from his comic book series. Like, I wish him the best, which allows me like a get out of jail free card to say what I want on my show. Right? Like that is very typical behavior from him. And he's been doing it for a long time. I've seen him like lobby this kind of thing at Ralph. I've seen him like, dozens and dozens and dozens of people, right? People that we know he like just deeply cannot stand. Okay. Like I can't think of any other examples right now, but like I have seen this in the past, very early on, as early as like 2019. Okay. It's a very typical behavior thing from him.
I hate that this is all happening. I hate that it's got the legs that it has. Doesn't mean the legs are genuine or whatever, but it's just that
What?
people.
What does that mean? The legs aren't genuine? Like they're propped up on stilts. Like the only reason this drama has gone on the way it has is because it's like walking around on a pair of stilts. Like what does that mean? Like how do you? Wait, okay, what did he say exactly?
The legs that it has doesn't mean the legs are genuine or what.
Yeah, okay. So the situation is still being talked about. He's saying, I think. What does that even mean? Like, okay, I think what he means to say is that the reasons people are still talking about the issue are because of people's misconceptions about like what actually happened. I think, and that it's not based on like any factual thing that he or Dick Masterson did, right? Like, I think that's what he's saying. Again, I keep having this problem where I cannot understand what he's saying because he's so like what is the like he's so muddled in his description of like what's happening. It's like he just throws any words he can think of out there, hoping desperately that they get like that they resonate with people and that he can fool them into going along with his nonsense. It's absurd.
Whatever, but it's just that people are going to keep going after this, and it's like this self-feeding conflagration. I fucking hate that because I love the idea of the Ripperverse. I want independent creators to have places that blow up and get big, and you can go buy stuff from people who don't hate you. So I love all that, but I think he has some real problems that I'm going to lay out in that message. Don't mistake it. It's not like you did a bad thing. It's like, here are the areas where I think your approach is causing you some issues. And I say this as a person who has been through assholery on
What issues? Right? He's pulling in plenty of money. He's not doing anything illegal, right? Like what issues exactly? Like I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about Eric July. I can't comment on this. But my understanding of it is that he is an independent comics creator that is not sucking up the Comicsgate, right? Who has found success without doing what the Comicsgate guys do and just complain about DC and Marvel without actually producing anything worthwhile, right? So Eric July has found some success like through independent channels without having to rely on like Ethan Van Sciver and those guys. Like that's my understanding of it, and that's why they're upset with him and things like that. Why it's been causing problems because like it's a cabal, it's a clique, right? Like in a lot of ways, the anti-woke community has become just as bad, if not worse, than the SJWs they claim to hate, right? I've been talking about this for a while, but uh, yeah, like what issues? Like why are you not talking about the alleged issues with Eric July and the Ripperverse? Like why are you doing this thing where you're like, "Oh, I wish him the success. Oh, I'm going to send him a private message." Like I haven't heard him talk all that much about what Eric July actually did. Okay, what he supposedly did wrong. It's just
internet circles, in the worst of them, right? Through like internet blood sports and all that stuff and all those
Blood sports is dead.
Monsters. Like you're now dealing with a monster. Now, no matter how much I like Dick or whatever, he is that internet monster born and bred in the fires of 4chan and its predecessors, right? Like you have to deal with them in a certain way,
Predecessor?
and
What?
it doesn't work the way
What
that you
came
deal
before
with every other
4chan?
problem on Earth, because they're broken and disgusting people. Like they're
Yeah.
fucking dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Just spend a minute looking at someone like me or Dick or Medicare or Josh Moon or Ralph or Worski. Look at any of us and try and find a well-adjusted human being in there. You won't. They're all pieces of shit.
Yeah,
So
they're all pieces of shit. I love how he lumped them in, lumped himself in with them, and then just immediately threw them under the bus. What a piece of shit! I was about to say something else, but yeah, I have noticed that like it does feel like the vast majority of these internet people just cannot function in regular society, which is why they like lean into streaming and like these alternative sources of income because they don't want to work a regular job. They don't want to be around other people. Like it needs to stop, okay? Like stop supporting these people, stop caring about them. Like they're not doing you any good.
like I will give him some advice on how to deal with pieces of shit and say, when this is over, I will buy you 7 million beers or whatever, and we can hang out and talk sometime. Because I really hate how it's panned out. And at the end of the day, I think he's a good.
Probably because this has been like a massive Rekieta L, right? Like I think the Eric July audience is probably going to have a kind of detestment for Rekieta going forward. I think this is going to be like I think this thing has generated like has exposed more people to like who this guy is and what he's doing and why he's becoming such a menace. Like I've noticed that plenty of people will comment on and support Rekieta retardation. Like I remember when like I would be attacked whenever I would produce one by his fans, right? You know, like I remember people coming after me for that, but like these days, whenever I post one, it's always like, "Oh man, you're doing such a great job. Like, thank you for calling out Nick." Like again, like the culture has shifted, okay, against Rekieta, and I think that's the thing that he's really salty about is that like everyone that he's trying to take advantage of, whether it's Pippa, whether it's Ralph, whether it's like Eric July, it all just kind of peters out for one reason or another. Usually his own incompetence, but like this, like it's embarrassing to watch this unfold.
Dude who's made some bad fucking choices. And yes, obviously,
What?
I got mad at some of those choices.
What the fuck was that? Like, what? What the fuck was that?
Handout. And at the end of the day, I think he's a good dude who's made some bad fucking choices. And yes, obviously.
What? Okay, I've heard about the. Okay, I've heard about the bottle thing. Like I've heard about that. Like I know people have been making fun of it. Like I have never seen it myself though. Like I've never bothered. I guess I haven't been paying attention. But like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck was that? It looked like he was. I I can't even process that. That was insane. We're gonna have to watch that again.
Many of us say when this time because some bad fucking choices. And yes, obviously.
What the fuck? What the hell was that? Like I just okay. That is that is the first time I've ever seen a Rekieta bottle sucking. Okay, like I've seen I had a general idea what it looked like, but it looked like he was taking pleasure in it. Like it looked like he was just having the time of his life, just sucking that bottle. Like what the I have never in my life seen anything like that. Like that was just it's like those things you see at conventions, like that meme of those guys. They'll like sit next to like the most attractive woman they can find, and then she'll like stand up, and then they'll immediately like the guy will go over and like sniff the chair she was in. Like it reminds me of that, like just pure depraved, just ridiculous. No, like no. Okay, forget everything else I've talked about, okay? Like, this is like, what? Like, this alone is enough to make fun of Rekieta. Okay, that was embarrassing.
I got mad at some of those choices. Some of them have personally impacted me, and I thought they were very unfair. And I am not infallible on that shit. And that's why I have the whole desire to apologize in the first place. When you fuck up, and you apologize to the person you fucked up to. But I don't take back the substance or the facts of anything I've said. It's all true. Until someone shows me otherwise, everything I said was in full.
So, like, I apologize, but not really. Everything I said was right. It was all correct. I did nothing wrong, right? Like, he's not taking accountability for anything, right? Like, it's just like, what are you apologizing for if, like, you thought you did nothing wrong? I just
good faith on the factual merit of it, but the the tone and the language, which is why I didn't want to talk about this in the first place, because I knew all this stuff I said I've known for months. All the time I was saying I don't want to talk about this was because I knew all of the stuff that I was going to have to say. Leave me alone.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, as you wish, Nick, the video's over. But yeah, that was something. Like, holy fucking shit. Like, what the hell was that? Like, I went into this with no expectations. You know, I know nothing about Eric July. I don't support him. I'm not, like, affiliated with him, like, nothing, right? Like, I know nothing about this, right? I'm just some bystander, some innocent bystander who did not deserve to be subjected to the bottle sniffing, right? Like, I have no idea what's going on in a lot of ways. And, like, even I am just watching this, just going, like, yeah, Nick's lying here. I know him too well, right? Like, that's the issue, is that, like, even when I don't know, like, all the facts, like, I can confidently just come out here and say that, like, yeah, Nick's lying here. He's making that up. He's, this isn't what happened, right? Like, he's being disingenuous, because, like, he does this all the time, right? It's nothing new for him. And I just find myself more and more just like, this again? Like, really? Embarrassing. Okay. That better not be what I think it is.
Obviously.
Fuck you, Pepsi, man, you piece of shit. I did not need to see that again. Okay? Like, this guy, like, okay? Like, this guy, like, how dare you do this to me? Like, how dare you make me watch that a fourth time? Like, I knew it was coming. It was 100% my fault for clicking on it. But, like, okay. Yeah, everybody's laughing. Yikes on bikes. Has he made that slurping noise? Oh. No. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the comments aren't going over anything we didn't already know. Yeah. So, what a ridiculous situation. Okay, Rekieta's coming out here. He's trying to gaslight people to thinking he did nothing wrong, that he wishes Eric July the best. Nobody's buying it. And it seems as if the situation is going to get worse. I am really curious in seeing, like, how this situation escalates, right? Like, I'm seeing on Kiwi Farms that, like, a lot of people are, like, being critical of Comicsgate. And going by my limited experience with them, I kind of am leaning in that direction as well, right? Because it does feel like they're kind of using their influence to, like, uh, promote some creators while ignoring others, right? It is very much a clique, right? There are a lot of things happening right now. This is not the end, is what I'm getting at. I do think there's going to be, like, more Rekieta retardation in the future, like, in regards to this Eric July thing and, like, the Comic Gate thing and, like, everything else that's going on. We are going to be seeing more from Rekieta retardation in the very near future. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.